We are inside Lambeau Field. I'm joined by Tyler Dunne of the Journal Sentinel, writes all the good and hot breaking Packer news. Thanks for joining us today. Let's talk about the read option. You just wrote something really nice about it. Tell us a little bit what goes into that piece and what the Packers ran into last year.
Well, I don't think it was a big surprise that Green Bay wasn't prepared to face San Francisco and the read option, the pistol formation, all of that. You know, San Francisco, they had 181 rushing yards, 99 of that was in the option. Green Bay wasn't already talking to a couple players anonymously. They said they ran next to no option in the week leading up to that game, which I think is kind of a surprise to a lot of people. So what did they do? They talked to a slew of college coaches to be prepared this time around. The entire defensive staff went down to Texas A&M, talked to Texas A&M's entire defensive staff. They go against Johnny Football every day in practice. They talked to various assistant coaches across the country, including Wisconsin's new defensive coordinator, who faced Kaepernick in college when he was at Nevada. So trying to get a lot of different perspectives, and I think it's going to pay off. We'll see. But this is a type of offense that you need a lot of time to prepare for. I don't think 1, 2, 3 days is sufficient.
So is this going to be a different looking defense when it comes to the read option? Because the first 2 weeks, you got some quarterbacks that can get it done on this football field.
That's a great point. I mean, they face Robert Griffin III and Colin Kaepernick right away, bang, bang. They're going to find out if they're ready to face it. I just think that it takes a lot of confusion up front. What the coaches were telling me is, look, it's kind of like a quarterback playing that cat and mouse game with the secondary. You're going to disguise things in coverage in the secondary. Well, you got to disguise things up front on your defensive front. Kind of don't necessarily tell or tip off the offense that you're going to run a 3 technique or a 5 technique, that you're going to be in a 2-point stance, a 3-point stance. Mix it up, make it confusing for the offense, and if you got a shot at the quarterback, you got to take it.
All right, let's talk about that offensive line. Big switch from left to right. What goes into that, and what do you think the guys really feel about it inside to themselves about the switch?
I think they have to feel good about it in the sense that they did it day one, first day of OTAs, they made the change. That's kind of what Aaron Rodgers was telling me. That was important for them to make that change right away and say, Brian Bulaga, you're on the left, you're at left tackle, Josh Sitton, you're at left guard, TJ Lang, you're at right guard. So and there's a competition at right tackle. Doing that right away, as opposed to getting into training camp and kind of having 3, 4 different competitions, I think that was smart. We're not going to see if it pans out until the bullets are flying on game day.
Hey, I like that. Let's talk about that running game. Everybody wants to know how this running game is going to shake out. You got 2 hot rookies coming in. You got some veterans that are fighting for jobs. That is going to be a huge, big-time battle in training camp.
Speaking of big, I mean, Eddie Lacy, 238 pounds. He's a large man. He kind of joked around and said, yeah, I have to watch that cooking down south over the break. They'd probably like him to shed a few pounds, but overall, they like the fact that he's a bigger back. He's got a lot of size to him. They haven't had a guy like that running the football in a long time. And then when you blend that with a 202-pound Jonathan Franklin, who's shifty and quick, Alex Green's coming back, James Starks is coming back, and Dewan Harris, the starter that finished last season, he had a cyst removed from his lung. He's hoping to breathe like he was never able to breathe before. So a lot of competition. When they say that it's a competition, that position, I think it's pretty genuine. I think that Alex Green absolutely still has a chance to start or to have a role on this offense. And they didn't draft Lacy and Franklin for the heck of it. So it's going to be really interesting come this summer.
But people want to know about James Starks. What do you think about him? Here's a guy who's been banged up, had a hard time holding on to the ball, and OTAs and mini camps. So what about his shot?
Right, he did have a couple fumbles there at the OTA we saw a couple weeks ago. Got to hang on to the football. I think for him it's just about health. He's got to stay healthy. One injury in training camp, it'd probably spell his demise there. But if he stays healthy, he was the one that led him to a Super Bowl in the playoffs. I think the coaches still remember that. And Alex Van Pelt, the running backs coach, had a lot of good things to say about Starks and Alex Green, the 2 incumbents coming back that I think a lot of people kind of forgot about.
He's Tyler Dunne. I'm Rod Burks. Tyler Dunne bringing it strong the first time out in minicamp. Can't wait for training camp. We're live at Lambeau, but we're not live. Enjoy.